you do more yourself, and then or you are less trustful that things will work, and then you want to control more. Have a
really
huge ship coming.
It's
like almost like a city movie.
Wow. Yeah.
Passing us.
It's like that moment,
no?
like that moment in Jurassic Park.
But that's the reality. That's the reality of this place. You know?
Yeah.
How do you know that you're moved?
Because I start crying or laughing.
Okay,
No, I do my own sauerkraut.
I think I'm quite polyamoreus.
That's a nice parallel.
Zijn ze nou helemaal bevlogen?
Zijn ze nou helemaal bevlogen?
Zijn ze nou helemaal bevlogen?
Zij zijn nou helemaal bevlogen.
Zijn ze nou helemaal
Bevlogen.
Kunstenaars, componisten, makers, zangers. Het is een intrigerend soort. We zien ze door het landschap trekken, op zoek naar vruchtbaar land. En ze lijken te overleven in alle omstandigheden en laten zich door geen bureaucratische roofdieren of financiële droogtes tegenhouden. Door en droog was het al in het veld van kunst en cultuur, maar de overtreffende trap van bar is inmiddels wel bereikt. En zelfs nu blijven ze bedrijvig, te midden van alle normalen van tegenwoordig. Sterker nog, het lijkt wel alsof ze nog harder werken dan eerder om hun kunst de wereld in te dragen. Maar wat bezielt deze mensen om in deze tijden dit werk te blijven doen? Is het verstandsverbijstering? Bedwelming door Apollo, god van de kunsten? Of zijn het de goede oude en nieuwe muzen die hen uitzonderlijke stamina bezorgen? Welkom bij de podcast Zijn ze nou helemaal bevlogen? Van O. Mijn naam is Simone van Hulst en samen met Björn Plooster als technische steun en toeverlaat ga ik met makers in gesprek om geïnitieerd te raken in de wonderenwereld van bezieling. So today Björn and I went on an excursion. We are sitting in a garden on the Quarantaine Eiland on Heiplaat, surrounded by birds, flowers, the sounds of the harbor and the Maas, and I even saw a bunny on the way here. So how did we end up here? Well, this island is actually one of the protagonists of the collaboration between Opera Today and O, and is the stage and the subject of the performance Quarantaine Eiland, which will premiere somewhere in August this year. We are talking today to three of the other protagonists of this collaboration. First, Tobias Kokkelmans. He's one of the driving forces of O, officially as a dramaturge, but his work, I think, expands that title. He's a theater studies scholar and a musicologist, and has worked for many companies throughout the country, scouting, guiding, and inspiring new talents along the way. Opera and music theater are part of this DNA, and I also heard that he has a talent for playing the piano when no one is watching. And Davy Pieters, she's a director, a theater maker and founder of performance collective Kobe, and a force to be reckoned with in the world of contemporary international theater. I tried to list all the prizes she received, but it became a bit of too long of a list. Her most recent works are How to Build a Universe, The Unpleasant Surprise, and What We Leave Behind. Her work carries a remarkable signature. Hard to describe, but specialists will recognize a Davy Pieters from afar. And then Hernán Schvartzman. He's a conductor and one of the founding fathers of the Opera Today festival. Hernán has a very long track record of working with companies and musicians all over the world. He also won many prizes, actually, and scholarships, and is not to be pinned down. Water taxi sound. He's not to be pinned down on either historical or contemporary repertoires, but is an all-rounder instead. So welcome to the three of you.
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy to have you all here. And before we start, I gave already an introduction to you three, of course. But I wonder if you could help me to introduce the fourth protagonist of this very important project, the island. It's sort of a silent guest, even though we heard already some sounds here and there. But can you help me introduce the island to the listeners?
We are at Quarantaine Eiland. It's how can I say, beautiful hidden place in the harbor of Rotterdam. It's also a kind of demanding place, if I would say, because it has its own vibe and rules, and really nice to work here. The quarantine terrain is actually a place where it has been built to isolate people who were sick and came from the boats from wherever, and with diseases, and to isolate them from the rest of Rotterdam. But it's a special place because it has been built like a long time ago, but it has been used not so often.
Mm-hmm.
Not like on the scale it has been built. It was for some mass pandemic, pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be useful now in these times.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's kind of desolate, and it has been used twice, and it's crazy. When I came here, you have a isolation building, a choral house, a disinfection building. So you're wandering around to think, this would be so useful, and how that there's a place especially for diseases.
For what we are in right now also.
For what
actually.
we are in right now, yeah.
Very nice, a very demanding place, you also said that.
Yeah.
Is that something you agree upon, Tobias and Hernán?
Yeah, what I want to say also, what fascinates me a lot is that so the place was built for a big scale pandemic, and because of penicillin was invented right after this huge pandemic didn't come. But still something could come, so that meant that the place was kept ready in case something happened. So for I think more than 20 or 30 years, beds were made, everything was cleaned, and somebody was here in charge. But these sick people actually almost never came. And for us, in a way, when thinking about this production, about how this pandemic, in a way, equalizes us. Not only, let's say, it doesn't matter if we are rich, we are poor, we are from whatever culture, but also it doesn't matter if we are born in the 21st century or in the Middle Ages, we all went through the same things.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, this performance wants to use and to make use of this Iceland as a symbol and as a mythical place, where we bring back all these people that actually never came, but we are experiencing together what it is to be how we are actually now.
How we are actually now. Yeah.
Yes, it almost feels like instead of sailors who are now, being put here on this island, which of course was the original function, and instead of that, now stories are washed ashore from all different directions. And if I might add, there's a lot of hidden histories on the island itself. So when we came here, we absolutely had no clue how rich the history of this place would be, or histories actually, because there's a lot of different perspectives on the island. And that's what makes it so fascinating. It's not a matter of, okay, now we figured everything out what is to find out about this island. No, it keeps surprising us.
Mm-hmm. So it's sort of an enigmatic person to get to know.
It's like Alice down the rabbit hole, talking about rabbits. It goes down and down and down and further. It's very fascinating.
So you also still explore and sort of find new things every time you come here, or?
Yeah, but this place has so many layers of it, and often we think on the vegetation, the flora here. This place in the beginning was a super clean with all the grass was very well cut, and I think it's often described by the people who were here like a very naked place. And now you see all kind of trees and plants and climbing plants around. And how the nature has taken over and actually softened a lot of the coolness of the place.
Yeah,
and also that when I came here for the first time, it was autumn, so it was really cold and rainy and grey, and then it becomes this kind of desolate, bit scary place. And now we are suddenly in spring.
Yeah.
And there's flowers everywhere, flowers that match the costumes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Rabbits. It's really green, and it becomes kind of a serene place, like a treasure or something.
Yeah.
So that's also nice that the seasons or the weather change the character, and that's also nice to discover.
And you still haven't discovered summer also on the island, right?
No,
Have you been here already?
We will be at the premiere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
In August,
Yeah. So today is Friday. And what kind of Friday was it for you?
It was an important day in a way because today we finished doing the first sketch of every scene. So in the morning we sort of finished the piece. So in that sense, it was really great because on the one hand, I think we all got the feeling that we are building something really, really nice. Like all the scenes are fantastic, really moving and deep and different. And on the other hand, we also have a clear picture of the things that we need to improve or something that doesn't work or we need to change something of the sound or change a place or change the order. So it was an important day in the sense we have today a clear feeling of what the performance will look like, and we have a nice to-do list to work next week before we stop before the summer break.
Because the show also has various elements, so it's you get a tour around this quarantine island. And there is audio, stories, music, walking, sitting,
dancing also.
No. That no. Well, maybe we are not at the premiere yet. Everything can happen at the last moment, till the last moment. But so it's nice that we saw the first sketch of all these elements coming together.
And it didn't give you any like demotivation or thinking like, what the hell are we doing?
No, rather the opposite, I think, and especially also with the cast. I mean, it is, from a Turkish boy of 17 to a Suriname, guitar player of 60 something, going from all cultures and all places. That's also one of the things we really wanted to do in this show, is to, as I said before, to let us feel that we are in a way equal and one, and with the pandemic helps us understand that very, very deeply, and it's I find it quite moving to see all these different people from different cultures and different ages coming together very naturally on this production.
I think that's the first time that the first time that anyone said that, like, the pandemic is helping us. I think that's very nice.
Definitely. So also the whole casting process was really wonderful. When the rehearsal finished earlier today, then we were walking back, and Hernán and I were talking, and we were pinching ourselves and saying, "Oh my God, how come did it go so well?" And I think one of the reasons, of course, it's a very interesting, fascinating project, and but there's also this circumstance of this pandemic right now, and the privileged position we have to be able to come together and work together, and you feel this sense of urgency from all these different makers and performers that are involved in this project. So you have so many different musical backgrounds, cultural backgrounds coming together, but there is this shared sense of urgency to do it, and that's the wave that we are now riding.
Yeah. And is it also your own wave? Like, how is your sense of urgency moving right now?
That's I think the same, and what I also found so beautiful in this project, discovering that all the stories and the music that has been made in other pandemics through the ages heen, or all at the other side of the world, actually correspond with same emotions and same thoughts, and that's also a hopeful thing too. That you're not alone. I mean, there have been pandemics. There have been many pandemics, and that we experience as a human species, and that's really, hopeful and strong to discover, and I think to share with the audience.
Yeah. And I think also, apart from this, the pandemic as an opportunity, also the pandemic, or the challenge, or any challenge, but the pandemic is a global challenge. It's also can also function as a creative force, and it's also nice to see also when we are working here on this context, that even through challenges, through war, through pandemics, life goes on, and humanity has been super creative. So maybe, I mean, there is one song, maybe we can listen to it now. There is one Jewish Yiddish song that was written in 1919. It's a kind of a cabaret song written for the flu at that moment that was killing everybody. And when we are rehearsing it now, I'm basically from one second to the other crying and laughing, because it's on the one hand showing, all the difficulties and really sad things we live when we are in a situation where people are dying, people are sick, and at the same time being able to have sense of humor with it, or being able to create art. So in that sense, that's one moment of the show that really shows this depth. So it would be great if we could hear to it.
Yeah,
now.
sure. Yeah.
So it's a song written by Solomon Shmulevitz, or Solomon Small, which was his artist name in back in the day in New York City. So it was a typical cabaret song, and when you hear the song, and like Hernán described it aptly, there's all these emotions there. It's like working through this very traumatic experience. And when I hear the song, I imagine the people who heard it for the first time. We know that it was quite a popular song, so it was being listened to in those New York cabarets, and you feel, this need of people to come together and share the grief, but also definitely the laughter. And you also feel this, exactly what you're saying, Hernán, that it can be this disaster can be a spark which fires new creativity, and it all comes together. People need music to sit around and listen to and feel the togetherness. And there's also this sense of survival, I think, also to the song.
Yeah. And addressing the virus. I also I found it very strong. Like, what do you want from us? What do you want from us?
Exactly.
So it's
and like really addressing first person.
Yeah.
Personifying that, it really helps to express the frustration we can feel at some point.
And also make it into a character, sort of. That also really works.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued by this combination of sort of misery and humor. And I'm interested in also you guys as makers. Like, is that also something that drives you? Like to show the sides of things that are a bit opposing? Because I know, Davy, your plays are sometimes a bit dystopian, but they also carry some spark of hope. So is that something you recognize in your work?
I recognize it, but I think you in a way you always have to. I think you need to bring hard things also with a sense of humor and make people breathe again, laugh again, and connect again. Otherwise, it's But where are we without any hope or without any joy and laughter in a way? So
And is that also part of your artistic process?
I think you always look for it, but it's not like the goal. I think it comes natural to bring that in.
So what is the goal?
What is the goal?
Yeah.
In this
of the process in general for you?
The goal would be, I think, at least the starting point for me was that in this pandemic, we have been so isolated from each other. We have felt quite alone, and sometimes it feels that these times is really kind of special, weird place you are in. And you feel maybe alone in your feelings, your thoughts, your frustration. And I think the goal would be to actually bring people together through ages and all around the world. And that would be nice if people could experience the discovery that actually I also had from, wow, in 1350, it was actually the same. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We had the same feeling, we had the same thought. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And that would be the goal, I think.
And how's that for you?
I never start a performance with a goal, actually. And also when I'm working now with a singer or from a piece, I never start with a goal. My starting point is more always like curiosity to go in the material, text, music, drama, and see what's there and kind of take that out in a way, like make it alive. And make it alive together with the performer. So I actually never finished a concept or something until I meet the person that will sing it or something, and then take it off them and take it off the text and the music, and at the end should be always a story that comes from within out, not kind of idea that a plan that I made before, but kind of on the moment. Of course, I studied the score and I know what kind of the basis, but on the moment I try to sense how can this be a true story that I want to be moved. So I want to be moved, and if I'm moved, then probably the audience will also be moved.
And how do you know that you're moved?
Because I start crying or laughing.
Okay, yeah. That's handy that it's so visible. Yeah. How's that for you, Tobias?
Well, good question. I've now come to realize that creativity or making stuff, it's not about inventing stuff. It's actually about finding what's already lying around us, ready for us to pick up. And it's like a torch you're passing through. So it's a nice possibility, it's a nice, I don't know what's the word. I think opportunity, responsibility, maybe even, but a lovely responsibility.
What do you mean with the responsibility? For whom or what?
So, for instance, these stories about the people who were here in the Quarantaine Eiland. I think there is a responsibility to tell those stories, because we can feel maybe a bit uplifted, because they did the heavy lifting for us. We're not alone, and so there's a responsibility to tell those stories, to share narratives, because I think it generally will help us. We need stories. We need good stories, and we need different stories also. One example, and that's actually the ending of the piece, probably, or we're still thinking about it. But we end up with a beautiful poem, a very dark poem, also from late 18th century China, about the plague, and then we relate to this idea that the plague came from China. That's actually what everybody still thinks. But we discovered that archaeologists found the plague in bones in Sweden in prehistoric times. So where did it then come from? So we need to reassess the narratives, the stories that we are telling ourselves. It's not so much about where did it came from, where did it come from, but it's more about, okay, it's been around all the time. So what does that tell about us and about the way we are connected for millennia?
Yeah.
So that's the responsibility. You know?
So it's not so much about truth as it is about sort of exploring the stories that were constructed throughout time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, the truth is kind of constructed in the moment. I mean, it is not kind of a truth, but what people experienced or what we experience is just truth.
Yeah.
For the one who experienced it.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
So, and if we talk about, Tobias, like you said, we were looking for stuff that's already there. Like, how do you keep yourself in motion there? Is there something that sort of triggers you?
It starts. Right.
Yeah, what keeps you going?
Music.
In general, you mean?
Yeah, and in the whole work and process you're going through right now.
Yeah, well, you're putting the music. No, I agree. This is not only a history of the pandemic, but it's also a history of music, because time and time again we discovered that from the pandemic, beautiful music was made, or from grief and sorrow, beautiful music was made, and then I think this is a very important question for me. What is music, and why do we need it so much?
Yeah.
So.
And you also brought something.
Yes, I did.
Can you describe a bit for the people that are listening?
So, of course, I'm a dramaturg, so I brought 2 books. And this is one of the things that I discovered. It's a book, it's called Heiplaat in Verzet, because we're near Heiplaat, which is also a very beautiful village. And it was written by Jean-Philippe van der Zwaluw and Joop van der Hoor. And Joop, I actually met him, by talking to people who mentioned other people who mentioned him. This is how it goes, you meet people who talk about people. And this is a great book. I didn't know about it. I think some people know about it, but not so many. And it's a great history book about Heiplaat. And was very inspiring. And we found some stories about kids who stayed here in the late 30s, in 1939. And I have a picture here. I don't know if camera can see it. I can show it.
You can show it to that camera.
To this one. So this is actually a picture taken here in the Quarantaine Eiland. I mean, it's a completely different picture than this idyllic idea of this island. This looks like a concentration camp, and in fact it was, in a way, in 1939, because after Kristallnacht, which was a great terrible pogrom in late 1938 in Germany, many Jewish refugees came here, mostly without their parents, because the idea was, if the kids go alone, then the Dutch government couldn't refuse them. But the Dutch government didn't know what to do. They wanted to, move them as quickly out of the country again, because they felt that it was bad for the already living anti-Semitic sentiments here in the Netherlands. So they didn't want to have the refugees. It's a very, very, it sounds like now, what to do with the refugees. So they were being put here on this island, waiting a very uncertain fate. And we've in this book by Joop van der Hoor and Jean-Philippe van der Zwaluw, we found those letters and the memoirs of those kids who were here. And it's beautiful literature also, and very moving.
Yeah.
A girl, Hannah Offentier was her name, and she was 16 years old, and she was here from the very start till the end, and no one came for her to take her to a house. And actually she was taken to Auschwitz, and she died there a couple of years later. So she was here waiting for a certain fate. And the letters are really, really moving, but also really beautiful literature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also a really nice sort of more, it's a deeper sound I hear from you than we also know, of course, only the Anne Frank diaries.
Yeah.
But this sounds way more intricate. And
you remember her name, Hannah Offentier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one?
And the other one is actually, I was asked also to bring something personal. And this is a book I have since I was 6 years old. And it's, I can show it to you. It's a book. It's like a pop-up book with theater and shadow plays. And I found it in my... on my bookshelf. I still have it, and I think my love for the theater began with pictures like these, and also my love for the history of theater. And then that you have the feeling, okay, we're actually standing on the shoulders of so many people, and we just don't know it yet. Yeah. So theater for me was always like digging in the past and discovering stuff that we still use, but we're not aware of.
What you're also exactly doing right now. Yeah, that's a nice parallel. So what would you think about when you think about stuff that keeps you going? Is there like an object or a person or...
what keeps me going for this project, right? Of course, that we just have to make the performance. Keeps me going, like the premiere dates. and keep on being open to the location and
How do you do that, Davy? Stay open. How does that work?
Just looking and find a thin line of expressing and going under in the location itself. But what keeps me going, and I don't have the picture yet, but what I found is a small picture of 2 little girls who were here. It's a picture of Adi. She has been here in the Quarantaine Eiland. There was a typhus in Spijkenisse, and she was placed here as a kid alone in the isolation building like we are close to now. And we have spoke to her. She's
also part of the
and
play.
we will hear her voice. She's sharing her experience and her story, and was very harsh for her.
Ik had koorts en hoofdpijn en diarree. En ik werd gescheiden van mijn moeder en mijn kleine zusje. Die was 9 maanden. Ik kan me herinneren dat ik daar op een klein zaaltje lag.
You can imagine that a child of 4 years old is separate from their mother, being very ill, and she was lying here with a lot of adults and just waiting and feeling sick, and it was horrible. And what I like so much is that we spoke to her and she told her story, that we can keep it actually alive, and in this way we can also keep this area alive and this place alive. So for me also this creating, because there are very many stories and music involved. We are actually as theater makers passing through stories, passing through experiences, and that's I find it very beautiful and also great to do. I'm thankful for her that I can pass her story and that someone can pass it and then can pass it.
Is that also very different because did you meet her, Adi?
We meet her with Zoom.
Oh yeah, great. Does that also change a bit the feeling?
What do you mean?
That you know actually this person, because sometimes maybe you work with plays or written by people that are like not here anymore.
We are here all the day, and I'm just walking. I'm just passing this building, and I think, she was here. She was here.
Yeah.
So
if I can add, maybe as a bridge, maybe later I can tell what makes me keep me going. But I still remember the day, one of the first days when we were here, and actually, and Tobias came and said, "Look, I found this in the newspaper, this article of this girl, Adi." And then we thought, maybe can we try to find her? And then from that it became a reality. And
with a Facebook message.
With a Facebook message.
Yeah.
That's worth a podcast by itself.
And what is really nice, I think, again, also going back to what you said before about giving hope, and so that is actually for me also one of the other favorite moments of the production. We link the story of Adi with a beautiful, quite well-known song of John Dowland, "Come Again." Which actually we use as a subtitle for the production, because one of the sentences says to see, to hear, to touch, to kiss, and to die. It's talking mainly about love, but it's a beautiful metaphor of the things actually that we maybe miss the most in these times, which is the physical contact, the other, the possibility of being close.
Yeah.
And when you are sick, isolated, or in love with somebody you cannot see, you have this kind of same feeling of I'm closed on my own. So maybe we can listen to a bit of that.
Yeah. We listened to this song, and Tobias and Davy, what does it move you, this song, or
it really moved me. And then actually the same what Hernán said. And what I find so beautiful to connect it to Adi's story, that there's so much. She was here being alone and was missing her family very much, and she was seeing her father through a fence. And I also have to think of all the sick people now, maybe having COVID, and also see their family through the fence and missing. So suddenly this story with that music, that's kind of expressing these emotions of solitude and despair, and it connects together.
Yeah, it's really striking, huh? These parallels.
Yeah.
So, and Hernán, about what makes you tick? Do you have an idea?
For me, and it has to do actually with the same thing. One of the things that keeps me going most in creation is actually the work with other people. So in that sense, every time, we met a lot live, but a lot via Zoom, on those times when there were no meetings, and we were thinking about this and coming together to create this together, was always like, okay, well, we are, something is going on, something is meaningful, and you basically looked forward to the next meeting and then you go to a different phase, and then every time I now meet, last week we were rehearsing one by one with all the singers, and every time I was looking forward to meet the new one and getting also energy from that. Now you come here, you also meet the production people, you start, building a tent or just the fact. I mean, I always like this work as a opera conductor or to work in opera because of you have this massive amount of people that you work together with.
Yeah.
And I always liked it, but now in this particular production, I felt it even stronger because of not being able to work for a long time.
Yeah.
So I find it almost like, actually, I don't need anything to keep me going. It's more like a present. The other day we were here and it was sunny and we were working and just being there working, it just makes you
hydrates you
so
again.
happy.
Yeah, and it's so nice to reflect on this time with all this material.
Yeah.
It's such that's great.
It's also a privilege, that's possible.
Yeah, that you can reflect as an artist on the time, because we cannot see our audiences so much, but we want to express. I mean, we want to.
Because is it right that, Davy, you made already 3 pieces that didn't meet any audience?
No, so like 1.5 year, I worked very hard, but nobody saw anything of it. So,
and what does that do to your?
Yeah, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not alone in that. I mean, that's kind of makes it easy. But then when you're in a creative process, you feel the energy and think, oh yes, okay, now audience,
the fuel is there again. And how's that for you? Because like you already described that you were a bit like artistically dehydrated for the last months. I mean, I was also very busy. Look, also as a director of a company, creating plans. We did a production that ended up being on a live stream. I don't have so much. That's funny. It's different. I don't have so much the need of the audience myself in that sense. But I do have the need of the colleagues. Yeah. So for me, what I actually, even if I could rehearse, I mean, I hope somebody sees it. But for me, let's say 80% of the enjoyment of a production is on the making and on the contact with my colleagues of the making. So in that sense, that was more thirsty of that than of the audience seeing it. Yeah, that's nice. And how does that work for you?
I would say both. I was fortunate to work on a number of productions in the past years, and I can't remember what they're about, but I do remember the people. I do remember the people. So that tells a lot about why it is important. So yes, these are So, but I have to say I really miss the audience, or being in an audience, being part of an audience. It's a very special thing, and we don't understand that fully, what that is. Being part of an audience, moving as a big organism, giant organism of people,
and being silent together, left together, being restless together, being touched, or being like, oh, this is really not
Yeah.
touching at all. Yeah.
You're reaching a level of concentration or a level of emotion together collectively as an audience. That's, I mean, I love being an audience member. So, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
totally
looking
imagine.
forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. And this is maybe a bit of a controversial question, but is this thing you're doing, like this artistic thing, is this also work for you?
For me, it is and it isn't. It is at the end. It's work. You have a family. I think in this capitalist society we choose to live as a society. Then there is a price for things. But personally, I don't think for 1 millisecond about work when I'm working. It is always, of course, sometimes if you have to do a rehearsal schedule or a budget or an email, that part feels sometimes more like work, but the real rehearsing, the real being participating in the process, it doesn't feel at all like work.
Yeah, but or is it's just the work where you fit in well. So you don't.
But I was wondering more like, is there a boundary to what you do? Like, because you all sound really begeistert, I would say in German actually.
Yeah.
Does that ever stop? Like, is there a moment where you come home and you don't think about it?
Yeah, for me, yes. For me, very clear. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have an idea, but in a way, I like to throw myself in the process. Earlier in my life, I think I kept much more busy with what didn't go wrong, or what did go wrong, or what could it be better. But now, also because I am actually really lucky to be working now, for instance, with 2 fantastic companies together where they have such a trust that everything is taken care of. Everybody is so good on their own departments and so committed. These are companies in which everybody takes their own part and just does it. That actually, you don't need to be worried, or in the beginning you do more yourself, and then or you are less trustful that things will work, and then you want to control more. Have a
really
huge ship
coming.
It's like almost like a city moving.
Wow. Yeah.
Passing us.
It's like
that
moment,
no?
like that moment in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
but
that's the reality. That's the reality of this place.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's that's nice when you come here. You suddenly see this corner of Rotterdam with all these ships and all this work and all this harbor, and this is also happening.
Yeah, that's weird, huh? It's a real reality check.
I mean, unfortunately, audience cannot feel this, but now somebody is burning some wood, so we feel, so it is all this huge, information of senses, from visuals to what you smell to sound.
Totally different than the white cube we're normally in, huh?
Yes.
The white cube is also good.
Yeah. But we love location. We love location work. We love location work. Yeah.
It's really nice that you say we.
Yeah.
It gives me the feeling that you are really sort of a mini family.
Now we are. Yeah, it's nice that we met through Zoom.
Yeah.
And now it goes quite
every day. Just spent a lot of hours. But we have to say we had this click from the beginning.
Yeah.
Already we both knew Tobias. Actually, I think Tobias was the link from this trio. But I think from day one we started working like if we know each other or something.
That's true.
And then
nice.
That's really nice, huh?
Yeah.
Good for you. And then next week you have the last week of rehearsals for the summer. Is what's happening behind me?
Another big ship.
Another dinosaur.
That's really
another dinosaur.
But a bit more silent, I think, but equally big.
I saw your eyes. I go.
But from this perspective, it looks like it's coming through
us.
you. It's coming at us.
I will trust that you let me know when something bad is happening. Next week you have the last week of rehearsals. And then what kind of feeling do you want to have when you go into the summer? I think you want to have
satisfied feeling, of course, and and maybe some questions, some things to think about. But
so there's also some fermentation going on still in the summer.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning when we at least when I heard the project where we were going to make it in May and then was moved to August. Of course, in the beginning you had this frustration again moved or again cancelled, but now I'm actually very happy that we will do it in August because first of all I think for what the performance is, the weather, for instance, today is pretty cold, so if it would be today, difficult, but in August I think it would be perfect weather, but also will give us indeed this fermentation time when I think everything will be ready. You don't have to put all. I do my own sauerkraut, so I know about fermentation. So you put
nice gesture also there.
You put everything in on the pot, then you press it, you put the salt and then let it be, and then you taste a bit in between. But I think we will have some questions and some things that will ripe over the summer, and we can in that final week really make them
and I think it gives more space to discover the location a bit better. At the first moment you come here, you choose a location. Okay, this building, that wall, or this piece of gardening, and suddenly when you're walking here for a long time, I think, it would be nice to have like a person like on 300 meters somewhere in the back. So the space opens up to you as long as you are here. So now we can be here longer. We can make more use of it. So that's nice to me. Yeah, a bit more relaxed in that.
Sounds like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it feels like we've been preparing a recipe. You could make a comparison to cooking. I know a lot of people who work in the theater and music who are also great cooks, and so there's a link somewhere. So it's like we've prepared this recipe, this script, this casting, these people. Right now we're cooking together this meal, and now so next week is the last week where we're trying out this dish, cooking it and then having a taste, and then and sit back and then think about it was actually nice. Maybe a little bit of more salt, or maybe these herbs and this. And so we have some time to reflect about it. But this idea is, next week for me is going to be, how is it going to taste, this production? Not because the recipe I know, but from the tasting come new ideas and new thoughts. Actually, we have to use this ingredient. We couldn't have thought about it, on paper. Yeah, you cannot tell from the recipe, but you can tell from tasting. So this is next week.
Really nice metaphor.
And also the experience of walking through a performance. I'm also curious how it will work out. Yeah. So and what it is expressing now.
I'm also curious. I'm also curious about...
Please come.
I will, of course.
Buy your tickets like tomorrow, right?
And so we will come to that later.
Okay.
The marketing part. But I wonder, Tobias, because you give me a little bridge already there. Like, do you have any sort of spare professions that you still have in mind? Like, if I'm done with this cultural thing, this artistic thing.
Oh, yeah. I always wanted to be a doctor or a nurse.
Oh, really?
So it's actually nice. I always said if I won't make it to the directing course, I'm going to study medicine. And now I'm here at this medical place. So if I at one day think, well, theater, for now it was okay. Yeah. It is okay. Then I probably do something like that.
Did that cross your mind the last year, maybe? Also?
It always crosses my mind.
Yeah.
So
I think that's very healthy, actually. Don't you think?
It always crosses my mind.
You have a plan B, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, or a different path to take.
Yeah, exactly. How's that for you?
I have many ideas, but let's say something I already kind of tasted a bit. I love coffee and making coffee. I'm kind of I roast coffee and barista. So, and I once, even for a short time, was part of a coffee place or so. So and it was, of course, it was too much because in the middle of all the things, it's crazy. But actually, that idea of having a place like a coffee place
Mhm.
or something where just people come and you can have contact and talk and make
Yeah.
perfect coffee and that
Sounds great.
That is good.
Yeah.
Or I also love like nature and do nothing. So also other option could be
Early retirement.
no profession, and just
Yeah.
be in nature.
Yeah.
That could
Cool.
also be.
And you?
Well, we saw these boats passing by, and then I thought, I always wanted to be a captain.
Really?
But what happened? Why didn't I become a sailorman? But in a way, of course, it's very romantic. But I really love this idea. And then I saw, and then I had to think about dinosaurs, and I thought, paleontologist. That would be really great too.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, when I was about 6 years old and reading in this book, I thought I could become. All these options were open, and then at one point you have to decide, or society forces you to decide, and hopefully we can be a little bit more of those childs where all those options are still open.
Yeah. I'm
Who
really
knows?
curious to speak to you again in 5 years or something.
5 or
Yes.
50 years. Then.
Because
Well,
also
especially let's see what happens with Corona. Because
Yeah.
if it goes on like this, we made.
you will be a nurse, you will have a coffee place.
Yeah, and I'll take you on a ferry.
Yeah.
Also, coffee place not possible, so I have to go somewhere.
Yeah, well, takeaway is a
Yes.
big thing right now. No?
Yeah, that could be. Yes.
So, and you said the word captain, and I also thought about, like, you have really nice things to say about the collaboration with the three of you. But we have also a next rubriekje, which Björn is going to introduce.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is about what kind of relation do you have with O or with Oppar today? Is it a more monogamous relationship? Is it a polyamorous one? Is it a situationship? Is it more of a scharrel? Or is it more of a sugar auntie, uncle kind of situation? Who wants to go first?
What?
I can go. I can go.
I'm just thinking about the option of.
No, for me it's like with so I'm married to Oprah today, but we have agreements that I could sometimes go somewhere else and come back. But it is always very clearly spoken about. It's nothing behind the back.
Sort of open marriage, but then
open marriage, but very kind of, let's say, but with a, it's not like always, like open marriage, but it's more like you're here, but sometimes you
yeah. Nice one.
Yeah.
And you?
So I would say it's very monogamous. I've been working for O, formerly known as Opera Dagen, since 7 years, and I have to say, it's a really nice team of people. I know Simone, because you join our team once in a while, which is always really nice. But it's a great team. It's just a small team during the year, and then when the festival is about to begin, it gets bigger and bigger as things go with festivals. But the core of it is it's a great team, and there's So
no
big
7
shout
year
out
itch.
to Hans, to Matthijs, to Liek, to Guy, to Leon, to Eliza, Chabelle, all those people,
Yeah, no 7
Very
year
dear
itch
to
for
me.
you, I can tell.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, it started as a blind date, I would say. Through Zoom we got connected, and now we are in a very short relation, short marriage, and then
sort of serial monogamy kind of thing.
Yeah. But I think I'm quite polyamorous. Yes.
Very good. So that's really diverse for the three of you. That's really nice. So we're almost at the end, but we have a last element that we still want to do. So I'm going to ask my lovely assistant to bring us the books behind your computer. So as a way of thanking you, I'm going to ask you to pick a book
Wow.
Oh wow.
And you can decide by means of the title if you like the color, if it's a big book or a small book, or
Shall we
Let's start.
put them at the table?
Wow.
and if you know which one
Amazing.
you're gonna pick, you can explain a bit why. Lots of shoveling happening. Some of them are looking at the front cover, others are looking at the back cover.
Oh, the back is also good. Thank you for the. I'm not going to read someone, I think. Oh, okay. I think I
Yeah?
chose my book.
What is your pick?
Ta-Nehisi, Coach the Water Dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, it's a bestseller, so,
Mm-hmm.
well, whatever that means, but many people.
I
bought
didn't
it.
have
But that
it.
was my. Oh, you want to see it?
See it.
And why does it speak to you?
It's the this the under.
Sorry.
Sorry. I like the image very much.
Yeah.
We see it's painted. There is a water. I have to think of the river where we close now, and we see someone. Is he swimming?
Mm-hmm.
Is he dead?
Mm-hmm.
Is he diving? So I got curious about the image, and
Yeah.
then there is set between the world and me.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious of that.
Nice.
What does it mean, the world and me? So
Good pick. And how
Wow.
are the gentlemen doing?
After you.
Thank you, Tobias. I also was curious actually on that one.
you can also
This
choose
always
it.
happens.
No, it's good.
I want that one too.
No, no.
You are a family, aren't you?
Yeah, you
But
can-
I was also very intrigued by this book, Shaggy Bane,
Mm-hmm.
from Douglas Stewart. I don't know, the image of this boy also brings me to the atmosphere a little bit of where we are now, of somebody in a kind of very rough place, alone and young,
Yeah.
and
Queer also.
yeah,
Yeah.
looks deep.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Shaky
Bit
Bane.
scary, but
Yeah.
So I have to go for, I hope I pronounce her name correctly, Olga Tokarczuk. And so I've never read anything of her, but I know she's the famous Nobel Prize winner. And it starts with the heart of Chopin is secretly moved back to Warsaw. So, I mean, I'm
Great.
already sold, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to this. And by the way, it has a beautiful graphic.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
What a
thank
nice
you.
choice you all made. Really nice.
I mean, you also gave us nice choices.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's
Wow,
really,
it's-
it's a really
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's my
very
favorite
much.
Thank
part.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So we're finishing up, and are there more things you would like to say, or something about the performance, when it's going to take place? The exact dates, you know them.
we are
Yeah,
artists.
the-
Really bad.
Yes, it's in August. It's the Wednesday the 25th until Sunday the 29th
Great.
of August.
Of August.
And I think people should be really kind of alert on exactly where it's going to start. It's going to start in one side of the water, the other side of the water. So we are still fine tuning the coming into the place. But
Yeah.
you'll
Hopefully
probably-
by boat.
Hopefully
you
by
you
boat.
enter
Oh,
it by
that's
boat.
it
great.
will probably
Yeah.
be quite an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So
Anyway.
people have to pay attention to the whereabouts.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
and the
and,
logistics.
and it is also they need to be kind of nicely prepared to unexpected things,
Mhm.
and that's part of it. That it is this will be really immersive theater where you hopefully I think we also have it like when you come here you for a while are out of the world.
Mm.
You're really in a mythical place, and afterwards you can reflect. But it is a real experience.
Yeah. Great.
And
Yeah.
I really hope that like it has been going on like now until now, stories lead to more stories. Hopefully those stories will lead to other stories shared by the visitors, you
Yeah.
know, the people who come here and share their stories.
Great.
Yeah.
So prepare for the unexpected.
As-
Say to the listeners.
As always.
As always. I want to thank you very much for being here. It was a really great conversation. And I'm really looking forward to the show, really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah,
For
thank you.
inviting
Thank you.
us.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
All right.
We did it.
Good job.
Yeah, we did it.
Good.